Good morning and welcome back to our Leadership Empowerment session. And we are going to discuss today our second part, #2, on motivating your emerging leaders to grow. It's typical, that thing of what happens when the dog will catch a car when he runs after it. So often we find new leaders and we get them into positions. But what do we do next? And this is where we started last week, and I will continue on this session this week. Let us quickly dive into this. Our greatest challenges as a leader is to find leaders, yes, but even greater is to equip them, to empower them, and to get them motivated. In the beginning it's easy because it's a new thing. They're excited about being on leadership, but they are falling behind on taking responsibility and ownership for their own personal growth. And that is the difficult part, is to motivate them to do it for themselves, not just to wait to be taught, wait to be equipped, but to embrace the vision, the way forward, and take up their own responsibility to make it happen. So leadership is built in real time. Leadership, we can have training sessions, we can have indabas, but the best way to train your leader, to motivate them, is in real life. Put them in a controlled environment where you are still in control and the safety net for them, but let them work and function within that environment in real life. Send them out. Let them do things. Allow them to make mistakes. Remember, failing is when you make a mistake, you don't learn from it, and you don't get up. This is failing. But the mistake is, if you are making a mistake, get up, dust yourself off, learn from the experience, and don't repeat it. Because the first time that you make a mistake is a mistake. The second time you do the same thing is no longer a mistake, it's a choice. Because you were supposed to learn from the previous time. So leadership is formed in responsibility, under pressure like a diamond, with accountability, and through that all, they are building up experience and they are motivated for this. So we need to ask ourselves, do I allow my leaders to live their life in real responsibility, in real life? And the one thing we've discussed last time as well, I'm not going to repeat it, and this is one of the dangers in leadership, is misplaced ambition. As we motivate leaders, we must guard against something very, very dangerous: zealous human ambition. That will destroy them, their team, and it shall impact your organization negatively. So let us continue this morning on what to do with these leaders, how to motivate them. Their calling must be tested in a community. Yet, I'm repeating myself, not in a laboratory, it's easy there, but in a community, in a culture. No leader can and could develop in isolation. Because what is a leader? A leader is a person that is leading somebody. So you cannot be in isolation. In isolation, there's nobody to lead. So you're no longer a leader. Your leader must be placed in a position to lead in a real life, in a community. Malcolm Weber said the following. He says he teaches that a leader and the emerging leader is purified in his community. Because the community will have him under scrutiny, will observe him, and they will look at him and say, I want to do that. I want to follow that vision, that passion, that excitement, that purity, that raw honesty. Emerging leaders will be built on fire-tested character. Sometimes we place so much focus on skills, which is important, and we neglecting the character foundation. Everything is built upon character. If your character is weak, your skills cannot sustain you. Work into your training integrity. How we must teach and train people to be integrous, to walk with honesty, with a yes, yes, and a no, a no. But why does community matters? Because we can deceive ourselves, and therefore our blind spots are then hidden. That's why we need to be surrounded by people, by a community. And if we're not functioning within the community, we can overestimate ourselves. We think we are untouchable, unbeatable, and you're always right. A community will help you not to underestimate our calling or overestimate our calling. A community requires accountability from the leader. That's why we need people around us. A community, listen to this one, it's very important. A community multiplies the leader's input. Because if I speak alone, I have one voice. When I have a community that follows me, my voice has just been amplified, has just been multiplied. My influence has just been multiplied. That's why we need a community. A leader without a community becomes very, very, very vulnerable. It affects his vision. He starts to lose the clarity of the vision. His vision starts to become clouded. And if you're working alone, you carry too much responsibility. You carry too much weight. It shall burn you out. It shall burden you down. So we need to surround ourselves with a community where we can work together, carry the load, spread the load, share the vision. As a leader, we must create accountability structures. Our emerging leaders must slot into that accountability structures. We need to teach them to listen, to apply information, to receive honest feedback. As an emerging leader, and I'm speaking to you today, this morning, always stay teachable. Stay submitted. Stay connected. Never isolate yourself. Because isolation produces error. And a community produces clarity. Now you see, we cannot have these lone rangers running around. They bring more damage than good. We need to understand their potential in our motivating our emerging leaders. Understand their potential. This is where many leaders go wrong. We misunderstand what potential really means. Potential is not performance. Potential means not yet. That's what potential means. If they were already performing at a high level, they wouldn't need development. They would already be leading fully. So what do we look for when we look at these emerging leaders? Faithfulness, hunger, that is passion, teachability, and look at character indicators. We don't work towards character. We work from character. We can teach skills later, but character is something that a person brings to the table, an emerging leader brings to the table, and we work from that into the skills component. Don't look for perfection, look for direction. Potential is not willingness. You hear me? Someone may be gifted, called, and capable, but unwilling to pay the price. And these are the things that we must look for in our emerging leaders. And if it's there, grab them, motivate them, train them, equip them. Leadership requires a sacrifice. It's simple. You cannot lead if you're not willing to sacrifice. It requires time. It requires to work under pressure. And this one is difficult. Dying to yourself. Dr. John Maxwell always say, unless the desire inside of you dies to lead, you're not ready to lead. It means kill the ambition, the human ambition. So what is my role? As a leader, we cannot force willingness. We cannot force anybody to be willing to pay a price. It is something that that emerging leader must have and use that. What we can do is pray, walk with those people, show them the value of the vision, and they shall buy into that vision. Remember, potential is not readiness. A person can have the calling, can be willing, but the question is, are they ready? Why won't they be ready? Because it's a position, it's a title, it's an increase. Emotional immaturity. They're up and down, like yo-yos. Their life circumstances might not be ready. Instability, fluctuations. That is what we call leadership wisdom. Don't discard them, don't throw them away, no. Develop them. But they're not ready. They have the calling, they have the willingness, but they are not ready. So train them, equip them, put them in the pool. And once that is there, so keep them involved, keep them growing, keep them connected. Don't throw them away. Because out of them lies a hidden gem that shall bloom a little bit later than the rest, but they shall bloom because of your involvement in their life. So wait for the right season. Okay? It will never be perfect. None of us are perfect. Let us understand this. It's critical. We think we are perfect. We are good. Did you do everything right when you started off on your journey? Give others that same benefit. That means no leader ever started a perfect journey. And this is a tough one. Make peace with it. Not everybody that you've invested yourself in will succeed. It's not because you are bad or wrong. Remember, that person, that emerging leader, also have a choice. They must make decisions. What am I going to do with the responsibility, with my accountability, with the information, with the skills format, with all these things? What am I going to do? So not everybody will excel. Not everybody will succeed. It's our hope and a desire that they will, but they won't. And a very tough one. Not everybody will stay. Why must I then train them? Why must I then equip them if they are going to leave? Answer yourself this question. Some people that you have employed, somebody else trained them as well, and they are now with you. Same principle applies. We are looking for skills, trained, equipped people. Where did they get this? From somebody else. So why are you fighting if somebody else wants to leave? Right? Keep it with you. But that should not stop you in training, empowering, motivating your emerging leaders. Your leadership development always involves risk, pain, disappointment. That is the story of every leader. But it's also true that training and developing and motivating brings multiplication, impact, and the leaving of a legacy. It's not just all bad. The outcome, sorry, I just want to get this thing done. The outcome of what we are doing is great. So how do I motivate my emerging leaders? Giving meaningful responsibility. People grow when they feel trusted. Affirm their progress. That's number 2. Affirm their progress, not just the results. That's important. Encourage effort. Encourage growth. Encourage their faithfulness. They might not be where you want them to be, but look at the journey so far. Motivate them, and that shall give them great feeling of satisfaction, and that shall motivate them inherently to grow. Number 3, create safe failure spaces. Create places where they can feel safe to make a mistake. Let them make mistakes. Remember, they're not failing. If they make a mistake, they are busy learning. But don't let them make a mistake alone. It's like the book I've written last year, On the Bottom of the Pit. We feel we are at the bottom of the pit, at the lowest point of my life. I'm alone. Guess what? God will be there. In the same way, this is how our emerging leaders must feel, is that we shall be there. That will give them a calmness, a security that they are safe. Number 4, model the example. More things are caught than taught. Caught through observation, the way I live, what I say, what I do. Let them see you lead. Let them see you make decisions. Let them see you experience some pressure. Let them see you walking obedience to vision and calling. Let them experience even you making a mistake. That will tell them on how to recover from that mistake. Number 5, call out destiny. Speak into their future. Speak so that they can hear what you see about their lives. That you trust that destiny inside of them, even though they must still be in the beginning of their race. And this is how you motivate them. Let us ask ourselves, who am I building with today? Who are my emerging leaders? Do I really give them opportunities? Am I truly developing them or just directing them? For emerging leaders that are listening this morning, ask yourself, Am I truly walking in submission? Am I willing to pay the price? Am I embracing my growth opportunities? Growth requires humility and obedience. If you're not building leaders, what is stopping you? Leadership does not reproduce. A leadership that does not reproduce dies. But leadership that multiplies, transforms generations and eventually nations. Now I want to close with the scripture. 2 Timothy 2 verse 2. At the things that you have heard from me among many witnesses, commit these to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. Interesting. 2 Timothy 2. It's never alone. It's always in twos. So what's God's model? Receive, develop, release, and multiplies. That's God's recipe after more than 2,000 years of Jesus doing exactly this, showing the way, and still multiplying. Thank you for tuning in this morning. And my prayer is that we shall embrace this. Embrace our opportunity to raise up a next generation through emerging leaders, keeping them motivated. And I believe if you apply the previous session and this session, you shall make a success of your leadership development. And if you want me to come and visit you, help you in your organization, in your church, please contact me. And you are more than welcome to share this. And I want to encourage you. Share, follow, make this YouTube channel. Because whatever is now posted on Facebook, I will post it on my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel. Follow and share it with many others. God bless you.